Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for sticking with me. I know it's been a while since I put a fresh video out. I think it's been 5 or 6 days, almost a week. I don't normally like to wait that long. Like I've said before, I'm not a video a day kind of guy. Just don't have time for it, unfortunately. But I do like to at least get 2 out a week, and I know I'm pushing a week now without releasing a video. So thanks for sticking with me. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hopefully you find what you see here informational or entertaining or useful. If not, I apologize, but that's life, I guess. So I want to go over something today, a bit of a script I wrote, and I've seen other people do this, and for their systems and everything. But mine is, I don't want to say different. It is different, but it's not a real good word, because basically it's the same type of script to do the same thing, but my system setup is slightly different, so my script is going to be slightly different than theirs. And basically what I'm talking about is in systems like the awesome window manager and Ratpoison and stuff like that, there's basically a menu you can show with a key press that will show you what all your hotkeys are, what your keybinds are for the system. And not all window managers come available with that feature. So basically what I did is, considering I've got anywhere from a dozen to 18, I don't know, at any given time, window managers on my system. I have a few more right now because I'm testing out two window managers. One I got a recommendation for in my comments, and one I just happened to stumble across, so expect some videos coming out on those, but that's a side note. I've got anywhere from 12 to 18 window managers usually on my system at any given time, and while I like to have them configured the same or as close to the same as possible, there's just some keybinds that per system or per manager are slightly different, and so sometimes I get a little hung up on, okay, which manager am I in, and which key press was that for this in this manager. All my basic stuff is pretty much the same. My web launchers and all that stuff, those are all pretty much the same. But there's just certain things that sometimes I got to take a second to remember, and it'd be nice to be able to have that pop-up menu, just like Awesome or like Ratpoison or whatever, just on hand in case I need it. So that being said, that's what we're going to do today. We are going to go over a script that's actually going to, basically, depending on which window manager I'm running at the time, with the same key press and running the same script, will figure out which manager I'm running, and it will pull my configuration file for that manager, and it will single out my key bindings and display them to me. And also, I will run it. I'm going to show you how I can run it from the terminal without using a key binding, so I can pick what specific keybind I'm looking for. So I hope that makes sense, but that's kind of what we're going to go through today. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is my script right here, and I will explain everything here real quick, and then we will show you it in action. So basically, let me zoom in here. Let's see, we're in. So hopefully everybody can see that now. Basically what we do is we start with the shebang, the /bin/bash, and that's going to let the system know basically that this is a bash script or a shell script, and it's going to run it from the bash environment. My next line in here, this session equals $xdg session desktop. Well, what that does, if I open my terminal here, my scratchpad, and I type in echo xdg session desktop and I hit enter, see right there, that's Xmonad. That tells me what session, what window manager I'm running on this session. So that first line right there, session, this is a variable that's going to run this right here, and it's going to pull the desktop session I'm running, so whatever window manager I'm running. Now, I haven't built this script all the way out yet to do all of my window managers. I'm going to do that. I just wanted to take a moment here and kind of show you what I got going on and show you how it works. So I only have 3 of them configured in right now, but the rest will be going in because I kind of like this. So I have one variable for session, xdg session desktop. It's going to tell me what window manager I'm using. The next variable I have is the 3 files for the 3 window managers I have in there right now. I have Xmonad, I have Ratpoison, and I have i3. All 3 of these are configured into this script right now. So file 1 variable is linked to my Xmonad config file. So that's going to be at my home /.xmonad/xmonad.hs. File 2 is going to be my Ratpoison configuration file, which is located at home/.ratpoisonrc. And file 3 is going to be my i3 config, which is located at home/.config/i3/config. So those are variables to call whichever configuration file is needed based on which desktop session I'm running. So again, it's going to pull the desktop session, and then it's going to locate which file is needed. And then this right here I'll explain at the end. This program equals $1. If you're familiar with this, $1 is basically your first argument. So like I said, I want to be able to run this without a hotkey and pick specific key bindings or specific actions I want to try and run. So that being said, I'll go over that and show you that in a minute. But printf here, I had this in there because I was actually going to launch it as a menu system, or as a, not a menu, but a prompt, so where I hit my key binding and ask me which system I want to launch, and then I could type in program. Like say I wanted to launch Brave, I could type in Brave and it would show me the key binding for Brave. But I decided I don't know if I want to go that route. So we've commented that out right now, but it still might go in there. I'm not sure yet. So then what we've got is we start the script here. We've declared our variables up here. Now we're going to start the script, and right here I have a heading for the script showing the name of the desktop session. So when I run this script and it pulls everything, the first thing it's going to start out with is figlet, which, if you're not familiar with figlet, is kind of a banner system for the terminal, and so it'll write out some fancy lettering just so I can see that it's pulling the right configuration file and everything. I'm going to run it with the font small, and then it's going to pull the session, which again is right here. So it's going to run this xdg session desktop, so that'll know what name to put in there, and then it's going to say key binding. So it'll just say whatever window manager I'm running, and then key bindings. And you'll see when I show you the script in action. But so now we're going to get into the actual script itself, and it's pretty basic. And if you look down here, you'll see, and I'm going to go over this, I've got all 3 files, and I've got them configured out in a different way. And again, when I show you it in action, I'm going to show you the difference between all 3 of these and what they do. So because there's certain ways you can do things, there's multiple ways you can do things, is what I'm trying to say here. And so I'm just kind of showing you an idea of all the different ways you can do this. And I know I'll head you off at the pass here. This printf function in the awk language, I'm sure there's probably a more concise, better way to do this than to have this long string of ugliness here, but I tried a few different things. It didn't work. I just wanted to get this up and going to see if everything would work, and it does. So as of right now, this is what we are leaving it at. But that being said, let's get back into the script. So variables declared. It's going to run my heading and show me what window manager key bindings I'm looking at, and then it's going to start the script, and it says if the session, so that's if this command right here runs and it pulls Xmonad, so if it equals Xmonad, when it runs this command right here, then it's going to grep file 1, which is my xmonad.hs. But what it's going to look for in that, my mod keys, if we go over here and we launch Xmonad and we scroll down to that, you can see all my key bindings. Let's zoom in here. Oops. Why are we not zoom? Oh, because I'm not in. Whatever. Anyway, sorry, it launched in a different terminal emulator than the one I've been using. So, but you can see all of my key bindings start with capital M dash. That's what all of them start with. So mod dash return, mod dash n, mod dash c, mod dash up, mod. So they all start with the capital M. So basically, what this is doing right here is it's going to grep capital M dash in my xmonad.hs file. It's going to pull all the lines that start with that M dash. And then what it's going to do is it's going to pipe those into awk. And this long convoluted thing right here is basically saying I want it to print out, and I want it to print out field 2, field 3, field 4, field 5, field 6, and field 7. And this right here is actually set up to where it will line each one of these up evenly in a column. So you'll see when I launch it and show you the difference between this, this, and this, what this right here does. So basically, if the session is Xmonad, then it's going to grep m dash in file 1, which is my xmonad.hs. It's going to pipe that into awk, and it's going to run this command to pull these fields right here and print those fields. And then at the end, we grep and we do program. So that has to do with this. If I'm not running it as a key binding, then it will follow on to this last step, and it will grep whatever the first argument I punch in. Again, I will show you that at the end. So then it says elif, so it's going to pull the session, and if it's Xmonad, it's going to do this. If it's not Xmonad, but the session equals Ratpoison, then what it's going to do is it's going to grep bind. So if we go to I don't think I have Ratpoison set up there. So if we go to bim.ratpoisonrc and we scroll down, you can see all of my keybinds in Ratpoison. Right here they're listed. They all start with bind. So bind m-b execute Brave, bind m-a execute Firefox. So all of my key bindings in Ratpoison start with the word bind. So if we look here, it says if it's not Xmonad, if the session is Ratpoison, then it's going to grep bind in file 2, which file 2 is my home.ratpoisonrc. So we'll look for bind in file 2, pull all those lines, and then we'll pipe that into cut. And with cut, we will pull field 1, 2, and 3 with the delimiter being a space. Excuse me. And it will display that out. So then if it's not Xmonad and if session doesn't equal Ratpoison, then it's going to search for session 3. If it's equal to I3, then it is going to grep bind sim, because if you're familiar with bind or with I3, and we will do this one now. If you're familiar with I3, you can see right here at the beginning, all of my keybinds in I3 start with the term bind sim. So what this is doing is it's going to grep bind sim, any line that starts with bind sim, in file 3, which is home.config i3 config, and it's going to pipe those lines into cut, and it's going to pull fields 2 and 7, or 2 through 7, excuse me, and with a delimiter of a space. Now on this one I have it piped into column, which basically, if you have you'll see the difference kind of between this and this, but basically this is going to separate each of these fields into its own column, so everything is nicely spaced out, or evenly spaced out. So we'll pipe those into excuse me, into column with the fields -t and s with a space, and then again pipe into grep, which will search for program, which program is my first argument if I run this not through a keybind. So then if the session equals don't know, then basically printf is going to just show you, hey, session not found, and it's going to close out, or you're going to have to close it out. I could put exit, but I didn't. So again, let's go over that again real quick, and then I'll show you it in action. So we have variables up here declared for figuring out which desktop session is running. Basically, because for me, I have so many window managers on my system, so it's going to first figure out which system it runs. So that's the session variable. Then the file 1, 2, 3 variables are basically links to my path to my configuration files for each of the systems I have in there already. And then the program variable is my first argument if I run this script not as a hotkey, or not with a hotkey or keybind. And here, remember, the printf function and the read function was if I wanted to have it open as a question to me, so I could actually select the keybind Again, I am on the fence as to whether or not I'm going to go that route or not, but I might not. So first thing it's going to do is run figlet, font small, and it's going to pull the session name and key bindings and just put a header, say i3 key bindings, or Xmonad key bindings, or Ratpoison key bindings. Then it's going to start the script, and it's going to say if the session is Xmonad, then it's going to grep any line in that Xmonad config file that starts with m dash, which is all my key bindings, and it's going to pipe it into awk, and it's going to run printf, and this is going to be the spacing between the fields, and these are the fields, so it's going to pull all these fields. This will be the spacing between the fields, and it's going to print those out. If I'm not running it as a key binding, then it will grep the program that I put in as an argument. If it's not Xmonad and it is Ratpoison instead, then it will grep any line that starts with bind in my Ratpoison RC file, which is file 2 here, and it's going to pipe that into cut, and it's going to pull fields 1, 2, and 3 with the delimiter of a space. If it's not Xmonad or Ratpoison, excuse me, if it's not Xmonad or Ratpoison, then basically it is going to grep bind sim. If it's not that, and it's i3, then it's going to grep bind sim as the first word in the lines and pull any of those lines from file 3, which is my i3 config file. It's going to pipe those into cut again with the fields 2 through 7 with a delimiter of space, and then it's going to pipe those into column to equally separate everything out. And then again, if I run it not as a hotkey, then I can grep and type in whatever program I want. And then if a session comes up as unknown, it's going to print session not found. So it will still launch. It'll launch this figlet header, but it will tell me basically session not found. And then it's going to finish. So that's it. So I just wanted to show you how this script is written out and how it works. And now we will show you the script in action. So I am in Xmonad right now. So I do have Xmonad. I have it set up as a key binding. So I'm going to show you that one first. So if we go to an empty workspace here, and I have it set up to Alt-H, or Mod H. So if I press Alt H, then this is what we get that comes up. So as you can see here, everything is separated out nicely. I have the keybinds over here, I have what they do here, and I have the program they launch or run here. So again, if we close out of that, I press Mod H. Sorry, I have an issue with it doing this sometimes. I gotta figure out what's going on with that, but basically if we do mod H, then we get the key bindings up. So for some reason that's kind of a weird deal. Sometimes, not every time even, but just sometimes if I launch this and then I close it out and then I try to immediately launch it again, it's like it doesn't kill it completely, and then I get a blank, I get no key binding showing up. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's only occasionally, so I haven't messed around with it too much yet. So that being said, now, like I was saying, if I wanted to search for a certain key binding, I could run, and I could do, let's do, so basically I have it set up this way, alacrity -- hold. I have the -- hold in there because if you don't do that on this script, as soon as you hit enter, the screen will just flicker like it opened up alacrity and then closes it immediately. So what the hold does is holds alacrity from closing. So alacrity -- hold, and then -e is the execute, and it's executing my hotkeys.sh. But if I type in, well, I don't have split, so let's do brave. So if I type in brave here, remember right here, grep, this program variable is my first argument, and brave right here is my first argument, and we hit enter. You can see right here, let's get my deal out of the way, all it comes up with is the key binding, and then it's going to spawn brave. So I can do the full key binding, or I can just open a terminal, type in that command real quick, type in the keybind I'm looking for, and it will bring up just that key binding for me, so I don't have to bring up the whole list and then scroll through that looking for the keybind I'm looking for. That being said, without logging out and restarting Simple Screen Recorder and doing all this stuff, I can't show you the other ones in actual action, but what I can do is I created a short little video of it working in each of the other systems. Remember, I did i3 and I did Ratpoison, and then also I did it, it's not in my script, but I did it in DWM, and I ran it to show you what happens when it's not in a not in a system that is configured into my script yet. So let's go ahead and open my terminal, and we'll Control L, and let's Ranger, and then I'm going to go down here, and so I will show you i3 first. So if we open this, I am going to pause this real quick, and we will go to 4 so it's full screen. So basically, you can see here, this is the, I don't have it set up to key bindings yet on i3 and Ratpoison either. I just did this for kind of purposes to show you that it actually works. But as you can see, we type in here the alacrity --hold--e, and then run the /hotkeys.sh. So that's going to run this script that I just created. And again, this is in i3, so you'll be able to see that here momentarily. So if we just hit start, and we run that, again, that alacrity, and now you can see i3 key bindings up at the top of the script there, and you can see them all spaced out. From each field is spaced out from the other, so it's not all clumped together. So that was i3. So that was this right here. If session i3 grep bind sim file 3 cut F2 fields 2 through 7, and that's what that column -t-s with the space does, is it separated all those fields into those individual columns, so it was separated and kind of easier to read. So now let's go to the Ratpoison video, or the Ratpoison, and I will show you that one. So that's rat hotkeys here. So we will start up that one. This is Ratpoison, and again, I don't have this keybind set, so you can I show you or open up the terminal. We're going to type in the same command, the alacrity --hold--e hotkeys, and then once we hit enter, you can see we've got everything is. Oops, I'm panning through my. What the heck happened there? Sorry about that. You can see we'll just let this run. It's just a short little video again, but we'll let it run again. So you can see that once we hit the alacrity --hold--e hotkeys, all my hotkeys come up. Now they're all just single space separated, so they're a little more clumped together, so it's a little more condensed, and it just makes it harder for me to break things apart than when they're separated into the columns. But if you're not concerned about that, then again, you don't have to make the columns, and you can just do it the same way I did i3. Now let's go and look at the, I had DWM, where'd it go? Miscellaneous hotkeys. Okay, was that it? Yep, there's the DWM. So now we're in DWM. As you can see, maybe right here it says DWM, and we run the script again. Remember, I don't have DWM programmed into the script. Now it's going to show me, oh, DWM key bindings, but the session isn't found because I don't have DWM programmed into the script yet. But it does still look for the file, it does still look for everything, and it still attempts to complete. That being said, that's the script, and that's how it works. Again, I'll run through it one more time here. We have a session variable that's going to check what desktop or what window manager I'm running. Then I have the different files here linked to the paths to the configuration file for the individual window managers that I have set in the script. And then I have the program variable, which is my first argument if I'm running it not as a keybind. Then it's going to run figlet, which is just going to give me a header telling me what window manager I'm running and that it's the key binding. So again, Xmonad key bindings, i3 key bindings. It's just going to say that, and it's going to check for which one. If the session is Xmonad, then it will grep the m- lines out of this file, pipe them into awk, pipe them into grep. If it's not Xmonad, it will, and it's Ratpoison, then it's going to grep bind in file 2 and run it into cut and separate the fields I want. And if it's not Xmonad or Ratpoison, but it's i3, then it's going to grep bind sim in file 3, which is my i3 config. It's going to pipe that into cut and pull the different fields and then pipe it into column to separate them out nicely. or pipe it into the grep program and look for the program that I input. And if the session is unknown, then it's going to print session not found, and it's just going to finish, and that's not going to show you anything as far as key bindings go. But yeah, that's kind of it. I hope this helps some people. If you're like me and you got a lot of stuff going on in your system, or even not, even if you only have one system or one manager on your system, you can still use this. Just eliminate the sections of it you don't need, and it'll still work just fine to show you your one. And you can again run it with awk, or you can run grep and cut, or you can run with the columns, or whatever you want to do. You can just take this script. It'll actually go up onto my GitLab here before too terribly long, and you can take it, cut it, hack it, do what you want with it. I don't care. Hopefully you get some use out of it, and hopefully you found this video interesting. So again, sorry for the delay in how long it took me to get a new video out. It was a hectic week. Like I said, we had some birthdays going on. My birthday was yesterday, two of my boys. So that being said, glad you stuck around. Hope you found this interesting, and I hope you guys have a great week. God bless.